Hey guys, so this is going to be a new YouTube series where I'm going to be recommending different builds and skill sets, skill inheritance for different types of characters and how you can build them differently. This is going to be like just kind of like a mini series I'm going to be doing for fun. And I'm going to explain like the boons and banes of like what you want on a character for this type of build, what they can do, like can it be a glass cannon, can it be a support, can it tank, things like that. So without further ado, so this first build is my Marth. This is meant to be more of a glass cannon Marth. The reason why I chose the Boon and Bane as plus attack minus defense is because with plus attack, he has one of the highest attack in the game, especially for an infantry. He has 53 attack, which is really good in my opinion. And with minus defense, he has 28, which is still pretty good, considering his speed is still 37, so he's not getting doubled very easily. So with the 28 defense, that's really good. With the res at 26, he's not getting doubled very much, so he'll be able to take at least one hit from somebody, unless they have a skill that lets them double attack. The reason why I keep the Falchion is it's a great sword. It's effective against dragons, and he heals every 3 turns for 10 HP, so that will help him keep his sustain because he keep recovering his HP so that he can still keep fighting, which is something that would be really good on him. Swap. I feel like swap is a very good skill for infantry swordsmen because if you need to switch place with somebody to start tanking from somebody on an enemy turn phase, then he can do that. So let's say, for example, you bring a mage out to kill a character 2 space in, but he's in the front line, and on the enemy turn, then that mage will get hit. So we don't want that because the mages tend to die pretty quick. So what you want to do is you want to get swap so that Marth can go in and swap in with the mage so that he can take the hit instead. And usually if it's somebody that attacked 2 spaces away, so let's say the mage is still not safe, there's like an archer or another mage on the other side that can still attack them even if they swap. Usually the mage have pretty decent res so that they can actually survive that. The move is not like something you have to use. If you don't want to use swap, you can use reposition, which it could be just as good in my opinion. Reposition definitely has more like using spaces of tiles on the map so that you take up more space with that. Swap is more for like defensive play is how I see it. But if you don't like swap and you want to do reposition, that's perfectly fine. It's up to you. It depends on your play style, obviously. Like everybody plays a little differently, especially it depends on what type of team you play and how you like playing them. But swap or reposition, I'd say those are the best one for infantry swordsman. And up next we have Draconic Aura. The reason why I chose this is because it's only 3 charge and he has very high attack, so that he charges Draconic Aura very highly with that. With 30% more attack, he's gonna hit pretty fucking hard at 53 attacks, so that's something to keep in mind. But Fury, I chose Fury for him because he takes damage from it, yes, but it kind of helps all his base stat keep growing. So his attack, speed, defense, and res is +3, so he has even more stat, base total stat, which is really good. At 185, that's really high for an infantry swordsman. And because of his falchion, he heals 10 HP. So about 3 turns, usually a March would be, I'd say, pretty close to dying, especially for arena fights. But with the plus 10 HP, he's going to be able to have more HP after that, so that he has a little bit more sustain. And usually by then, Marth is like pretty close to dying, but the fight should be over by then. So I feel like that's why you should have Fury on him. You could change it to like life and death, for example. It lowers down his attack and res though, which is something I don't want. And if you give him life and death, he has +2 more attack at 55 attack, so that's really good. And it up his speed to 42, which I feel like isn't really necessary because unless you're a brave sword user, at 40, actually without the Fury, it'll be about 40 speed, which is really high speed, but he can't really fully utilize it without a brave sword. Like he's at 37 speed right now. He's not getting doubled by any character in the game unless they have like quick riposte or something like that. So I feel like Life and Death can work, but it kind of makes him worse in my opinion. It's not the best idea to put on him. So Fury is my go-to. And next up we have Swordbreaker. I think Swordbreaker is really good on him because one, he's already a good axe killer. Like he kills Hector easily, so he's already good against that. And with Swordbreaker, he's able to fight like every other sword user. So he got rid of like half the color units already as it is. Against blue, he does have issue, but if he can go up and attack most blue units that are not armored, so like not Effie, for example, he should be able to deal with most of them anyway. Because his speed and attack is so high, he's still able to double. And with his defense, he could still tank a little bit. Not the best choice, but he can get at least part of the job done so that another unit could come in and finish off the blue unit. And for colorless, colorless tend to be like they're not super strong yet. They're not like very huge into the meta yet. So I feel like matchup wise with Swordbreaker, Marth can cover most matchup situation more easily because of that. And that's why I gave him Swordbreaker. Fred in defense, honestly with the C skill you could pick anything you want. If you want to make him like more of a support by giving him Hone or Spur, that's fine. But if you want him to be like a full glass cannon, I want Marth to kill everybody, then Fred in defense is my go-to, because then he'll be able to kill somebody a lot more easier, because if they lose -5 defense on his turn, then it'll be more easy for him to kill it because he has high attack and high speed. So this next Marth build is pretty similar to the old one. This one's more of you don't have a plus attack Marth. The IV can be a little different. This one's just neutral because this is kind of just like giving you an idea of what else you can do with him. Instead of Draconic Aura, I put Moonbow because if he doesn't have plus attack, it's not going to hurt as much. So the second best option would be for Moonbow because it has 2 charge instead. And the extra damage calculator would be depending on what the enemy unit has. So it's still pretty effective, even without Draconic Aura. If you want to put Draconic Aura on this build, that's fine too. But it won't be as strong unless he has like a plus attack Marth. And the second thing I changed on this one is drag back. So the reason why I put drag back on Marth on this one is because most of the red units that are top tier right now are distant counter fighters. So they can go in, they can activate Vantage or whatever, and just start wreaking havoc. Sadly, Marth is not a distant counter fighter. So what I theorize is if you want him to be more safer, like you want to play Marth more safe, then you want to give him drag back. The reason why you want to do this is because if you have a team full of different like assist skills where you can move characters around, and you want to make sure Marth is safe because you don't know if Marth is going to be able to like solo the map like that. He's good, but he's not that good. He's not S++ tier, right? So what you can do is you have him initiate combat with a frontline fighter. So let's say, for example, I don't know, like a Xander, right? Xander's in the front line and Marth is in the front line. And the other, like the enemy other characters is like in the back somewhere, like the mages and stuff like that. So, but Marth can go up and kill Xander. So you have Marth go kill Xander, and then after that happened, Marth is probably going to take some damage, but it's okay because he has the high defensive res. So with drag back, he moved 1 space back, so he's in a little bit more of a safer position. And if you built your team around like swap and reposition, you know, moves like that can like help you bring the character into a more safer zone, then you want to give him drag back because that will make him more safer. So that's another thing to like keep in mind. Drag back, I feel like is an underutilized skill, and these two these two builds that I gave you guys from Marth is pretty easy to make too. Most of the skills you can get from these are like from 3 and 4 stars. So if you have like an extra Marth and you don't have any other like top tier units you can use, then you could give Marth these skills, and I'd say he's still pretty efficient. This Marth still has Fury, so he has pretty good stats overall. Uh, and Friend and Defense, so he could, for the most part, kill most units around him. So, something to keep in mind. Okay, now this last build of Marth is pretty unorthodox, but hear me out on this one. So, the Boon and Bane here is plus res minus speed. The reason why I give him plus res is so that he can tank mages better, and I'm going to tell you why in that in just a second. And the reason why I chose minus speed is because even at minus speed, Marth, his 31 speed is still pretty good. He's not going to get doubled by that many units except for like the really glass cannon mages, for example, like let's say like Lind. But other than that, he has pretty average defense stat overall. And the point of this build is for Marth to heal and to heal other allies. So the reason why I chose this is because with the Falchion he heals at 10 HP, right? And with Renewal, every 2 turns he healed 10 HP. So he restored 20 HP every 3 turns. And with Ardent Sacrifice, he's able to heal a unit with 10 HP. And he's still a pretty decent fighter. He has 47 attack and 31 speed. So with Noontime, he's able to recover some of the extra HP that he lost throughout fighting, or just in case you need a little more HP because you use Ardent Sacrifice a lot. And that will help him just keep killing and still recovering HP around the allies. Like I said, this is a support Marth. The reason why I gave him Triangle Adept is because this will help him kill out like Hectors. It's a little bit of a niche thing, but like let's say your team, like this team that you have, the only red unit you have is Marth. Then you can give him Triangle Adept so that he could kill Hector like much more easily. And like he'll be a Julia and a Nino killer because of that. And with his plus res, he's not going to take too much damage. But for the most part, this Marth is going to be in the back of the line. And the C skill slot, I'll leave that up to you. If you want to give him Hone Defense, Hone Attack, Spur Defense, Spur Attack, that's up to you. Like that's completely up to you. But this is like a really weird build. But this is like a healing Marth. I like to have fun and make unorthodox builds of characters sometime. But I feel like this would work. He's a pretty tanky healer that heals himself, that can heal other characters. So, something if you want to have fun with, I would recommend this build. Alright, well I hope you guys like this series. I'm going to try and make this a continuous series that will keep updating every now and then. If you guys like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you guys then. Bye.